Hi, John. We'll get you up here in a second. I like to get Shae in first. Yeah, it just looks a little bit cleaner. Pluzos just started following me. I don't know who that is. There is Shae.
Hello.
Hi.
How are we?
Oh, good. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good, doing good. John is awake. Yay.
Hello.
Hey, John.
Hello. I don't know if you can. Oh, you can. You should hear.
Yep, we can hear and see you.
That's good.
It's just John Bauer, right?
Usually I call myself John M. Bauer. Feel free to call me whatever you want, though. I'm not really picky about these things.
For your Amazon page. So it's like
John M. Bauer.
Aeneas.
Yeah, John M. Bauer. Sometimes I put it as John Bauer because of the weird. The problem
Oh.
is John Bauer is a pretty common name.
Oh.
Yeah. That's interesting.
And there's a very famous Swedish painter named John Bauer who is the top result on Google.
That could be a good and a bad thing.
Hey, Shae, have you been getting spam emails lately?
I've been getting spam calls and texts like nobody's business. Not as many emails. I mean, I have one email that gets all kinds of spam and junk, but like my author email, no. Well, I did get a weird message for someone wanting to make a video automation of First Hour, and I was like, no.
That'd
So I
be
guess
cool.
that would be one that would be cool, but that was definitely a spam email. It was written by AI clearly, so.
Add to cart. Oh, there's Ted. Let me add him real quick. Oh, I forgot I moved all my indie authors.
He's been rearranging.
Yeah. There's Ted's book.
Hey, Ted.
Hello. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Water real quick. I'll be right back.
Fine, fine.
Clint's got to get his water. Sorry my camera's not on, guys. We've had rain here for 3 days, and if I try to turn my camera on when it's cloudy or rainy here, it lags my audio and my video. I wouldn't mind so much if the video lagged, but the audio lag is what messes with things a little bit. So unfortunately tonight you guys don't get to see my smiles and head nods as you share your wonderful stories. You're not missing much, but
Well, since Shae can't hear us, just a horrible person Shae is.
you know what? I can hear you. I can't see you.
Geez.
Yeah. I may be blind, but I am not deaf.
It's like TX rules, isn't it?
Let's see what today is. Oh, gosh, I'll tell you what. I am
Thursday.
I had a dream last night that it was like a scary dream, right? And I ended up in like a loop of this like ghost basement, and he had like this weird chant that like a bunch of us were doing, and he just like had me stuck. But what pulled me out of my dream is he looked like, hold on, let me look. He looked like uh, Stellan Skarsgård. You know what I'm talking about?
Skarsgård sounds familiar.
This big family of
He's the
actors.
bigger dude in Dune. He also plays,
Okay.
yeah, in Thor. He's the scientist.
Yep. I got you. That's yeah. What a nightmare.
I woke so it was like a horrible nightmare. But then when I saw the ghost himself and I saw I looked like him, I started laughing and I woke up laughing.
Yeah, I've woken up laughing a lot from stuff like
Like,
that. That sounds Jeffrey Harris is here. That sounds like a book he would write. He writes crazy things like that. Oh, thank you, Jeffrey. My dog is snoring in the background. I'm so sorry.
I forgot he played Will's dad in Pirates of the Caribbean.
I almost said something about Pirates of the Caribbean because Skarsgård just sounded like Pirates of the Caribbean. But
I was thinking because it was who did Keith Richards play in Pirates of the Caribbean?
that cast grew so big after. Was he in the first three? Because I don't even know if I've seen three.
I don't know if but I remember. I think that he had like a cameo role, and it was funny. It was funny that it was him.
I need to rewatch those. It's been probably 10 years.
Okay. I'm pulling up your stuff now, Ted.
Thanks. I always send some stuff beforehand, so
Appreciate it.
to know what
Well,
at least
we
I'll be talking about.
we've talked about it a little bit, but Ted writes under another name, Tex Casnovas. So if you're interested in his work, that's how you can look him up.
It's I'm writing under my name, Ted Kostis or Theodoros Kostis, the full name, but it's light stuff.
Yeah.
Simple adventures. Maybe I'll get a young adult book under my name. The Tex Casnova style is dark, hard stuff, espionage, galactic empires clash. It's
Okay.
like it's more of an adult line. That's why I divided them.
Okay. Um, can I get hard copies on your website?
I'm sorry, hard copies on the website?
So like I've got Tinker Tailor Soldier
Ah,
Serpent. I was gonna go buy part two. I try to get everybody's books, especially
thank you
after.
very much. Thank you very much.
Um,
The if you allow me to say, part two of Tinker Tailor Soldier Serpent, he has a serial killer in it,
okay.
which may align with Shae's theme. But of course the the it's he's more like a BDK kind of serial killer. But of course, the protagonist is Rex Dodgers, who is an elite intelligence agent. And although he's captured and he's about to be unalived, let's say, to be on the TikTok
Yeah.
agenda, of course, because he's an elite intelligence agent, he reverses the game, and it's a
Cool.
completely different outcome from what the serial killer expected. But I wanted to say that because I remembered that Shae Smith, her theme is very much that, which is a very interesting subject. And
Yeah.
I have been researching it sometimes even in my work line for about 20 years.
Nice. That would be very fun to do for work.
Well, yes. Well, it's a very psychological
That's why
game.
I love it. Yeah, the psychology.
Yeah, because my line of work involved very much psychological warfare.
Okay. Yeah, same for me. When I do work, I stay at home with my kids right now, but when I'm working, it's in the psychology field as well.
Yeah. It's like a take on the classic Sherlock Holmes Moriarty kind of duality, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, to living the same life but in two different ways.
I'm almost ready. I'm just pulling up the rest of Ted's stuff.
Yeah, I know Ted's website's really cool. If you haven't looked at that, I looked
Have
at
you
it.
seen it?
Ted.
Have you seen it with the spaceships?
I really liked it. We're gonna talk about that because yeah, I liked your website. I liked how you had it set up.
It's I got the website as a pointer
Mm-hmm.
to the Patreon site, which points to free stuff.
Mm-hmm.
99% is free stuff. The only stuff that's under the paywall are adult themes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, sci-fi, spy-fi, and all of that, which is considered medium adults, if you know what I mean. I mean,
Yeah.
not extreme,
Right.
medium stuff, adult style. It's all free, like galactic empires, their systems, the spaceships, why they are clashing, and all of that, which is
Yeah, you had the empires and the characters. You had everything divided up on there too really well. It was just easy to access and um honestly taught me a few things about sci-fi stuff.
Hey, I think it's time to start. As a quick reminder, be sure to mute yourself if you're not the one talking. We get a lot of background noises, and we get not only authors, but we get narrators and voice actors and just people that are in the audio. So, like having little weird sounds like my chair going crazy just kind of bothers them. And when I'm not talking, I'll be sure to mute myself as well. While I'm doing the intro, please be sure to share this out. Try to get as many people as we can in here because that helps you guys get seen, and that's what this is all about. But hey, everybody, I am Clint Baker, author of The Worshipped Round Realities Bend and Mr. Candle's book. My co host, as always, is Shae Smith, author of Sour, which is a fantastic read. If you haven't checked it out, it is, I think, a must, honestly. It's about a family of serial unalivers that, well, I don't want to spoil how they get away with it, but find out how they get away with it. And the title, Sour, hints at that. That's all I'm going to say. My guests tonight are John M. Bauer. I had the M and I messed up just a little bit. And Ted Kostis. Hey, real quick, gentlemen, would you mind introducing yourselves, starting off with John?
Sure thing. So yes, my name is John M. Bauer. I like to say I am words and stories, and as an author and a writer, I verge into more the literary side of things, often somewhat lyrical, with influences that are kind of eclectic, from Heraclitus to Bill Watterson, more than the standard contemporary fare. And I cite things like Final Fantasy being one of my biggest influences, and yeah, that's kind of the course of who I am as a writer. And then I have these books out right now. There's 6 of them. My latest one, I think my camera's not reversed, so you're gonna have to trust me. It's Significatorious. And it's kind of my take on bittersweet romance and religious and political turmoil in the southern tip of South America.
I love it. We'll be sure to dive into that here in a minute. Ted, would you mind introducing yourself, sir?
First of all, I'm Ted Kostis, and first of all, I'd like to thank you, my good friends, and my fellow author for having me here tonight. It's a pleasure and an honor. Also, I'd like to thank Tana Hegel of Celtic Pluto U Services, who has been very great help for me, and I appreciate that. I write Clash of Galactic Empires, which consist of political thrillers, espionage, espionage style, And my latest effort is the Pearl of Queen Nictandra, which I have aligned it to noir, gothic, space opera, spy-fi thriller. And it is part of the Tinker Tailor Soldier Serpent saga, which I'm writing under the Tex Casnovas brand. I'm putting all things in place, and I'd like to say that I suffer from overspawning because this book, The Pearl of Queen Nictandra, was created from needing to have an introduction to the Rigged Gambit, which is after the first 3 books that I've written in the Tinker Tailor Soldier Serpent. I needed an intro. So writing this intro, starting this intro, came to a full book before the first 3 books. So I got Ringed Gambit, which is about 70, all the plot is done, and 75% is written. And I got The Pearl, which is all the plot is done, and 75% is written, and I'm editing it now. So that's a short introduction for me.
Hey, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for your kind words. It's always a pleasure having you. You're always so nice. And we'll have you whenever you need an interview, sir.
Thank you very much,
Let's
sir.
let's dive in. John, are you ready?
I'm never ready.
Uh-oh. Well, we're gonna put you on the spot then. You said significatorious, right?
Yeah.
All right. Sometimes my
This
tongue.
is my latest one.
When I was a kid, I had a little bit of a speech impediment, and so sometimes some words get caught. And but just bear with me on stuff like that.
No way.
It's the up and then the quick downs for me is when I always get stuck. But tell me what this is
It
about.
has to
You
be
said it was
too.
a political thriller about South America, I think is what you said.
It's mostly so. It's when I first started writing it, I wanted it to be like a cheesy romance, and I rewrote it the beginning, like half of the book at least 5 times until, and I realized that's not me. So I had some of these cheesy characters, and I reworked them into be more of this bittersweet thing, a twist of the knife, and how the realities of falling in love with a rock star would be, and in this setting where I've made up this religion called uh, the Seven Saints, where they venerate Saint Vincent above all, but then there's a local saint, like a local deity, and they're having this big festival for the local deity, and there's some clash with the government that wants the major deity to be the main deity, and at the same time you have other political factions that's more in the background, the threat of a greater war, and then you have 2 people trying to fall in love.
I'm picking up a lot of genre blends on this. How did you balance them all out?
Um, I have it kind of so like how it ended up working out is every kind of scene you can interpret it in pretty much 3 different lenses. You can either see it as a romance lens, like falling in love. You can see it as another aspect of the religious gambit, or you can see it as political theater. And I think all 3 are valid, and people have had different interpretations depending on what they want to see and what they like to see, what
Okay,
they
that
think
makes
is significant.
yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. As somebody who dives into not only myth and religion, I feel like there's a healthy balance that you're throwing at
Yeah.
us. The book that I was drawn to was Meneas, as somebody with a big mythology background. Yes, look at that bad boy.
Yeah, this one's a special one for me. It's kind of thick. I don't know. It's probably too thick for a lot of people. It's also weird because I used I call it an homage to ancient epics because I even do things like splitting up the different sections into what I call books, even though it's just different sections. And then it goes. It's there's I call it a generational curse that passes through 3 different generations because I'm playing off of how ancient epics used to tell stories, and so you have it pass on from one generation to the next. And for this one, I was specifically drawing a lot of influence from the Epic of Manus from Central Asia. But I mean, I liked all these old stories like Gilgamesh and Iliad and the Odyssey, all these things. I liked the format, but the form of it can be obtuse into our modern ears because they were supposed to be performances. You went to the theater and had a bard sing these songs to you. So when you're reading it these days, you know, you get the list of like, I am whoever, son of whoever, but it was because it was like a guitar riff that they're giving the chorus to make everyone know where they are in the story as they come and go. So that gets lost in translation over time, but the impact of the story is still there. And I even say in the forward of Menelaus, I have this thing where I say about how understanding our divergent origin, or understanding our shared connections while respecting our divergent origins, is how a new sustainable epic must begin.
I'm loving it. I can't wait to take on.
It gets a little weird for some people because it starts very vague, and it's a lot of kind of more philosophical conversations because it's setting the scene for the idea of you know, how do you deal with regret, and how do you deal with a life not lived to its full potential, even when the next in line has to continue living, and how do you deal with never getting the chance to do what you want to do when you have destiny pulls you somewhere else than desire, that kind of question. Or my favorite question I think Menelaus asks is, can a bad person still be good for people?
We're gonna have to have a long time. You're hitting all of my id points.
Yeah. But and then if you like, because Menelaus is also it gets more fantasy-esque the more it goes on. It's weird in that way. It starts in like you think you're in a modern setting, but it becomes more fantasy as you move forward. And I actually ended up writing this book, Rayon, as a prequel. It's backwards here, but and that one's about a demigoddess who's involved in the main antagonist of Menelaus, and it touches on a lot of the loose threads that were, you know, fun to get onto again. And it was for me, for Rayon, one of the big questions that I wanted to tackle is if you write an immortal character, and you for me at least, what makes immortality interesting as a character trait is why would you care about anything ever? If you can just outlive everyone's decisions, why would you care?
I bring up some as well.
That's kind of where
we're gonna get really philosophical if I'm not very careful. But I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's how do you even recognize that time is passing on, and how do you recognize when somebody has gone, and should you even care? Is those things, those classic.
Or even like it's I think for an immortal it goes well beyond that, because not only like it doesn't matter, it will all be forgotten. Anything you do will be forgotten if you live for, you know, even just thousands of years.
Oh yeah. I'm picking up on some modern themes in the way you're describing your books. Do you normally do those sort of blends of bringing influence from our predecessors to our current lives?
Usually, a lot of I read more like my background as far as reading is much more in philosophy and in textbooks and in language learning and these kind of things. And I've only more recently started picking up more contemporary fiction, and it's largely because of things like Book Talk, where I felt like I don't fit in. But that's as far as like modern influences there, I don't, because it's more like the questions what I'm talking about for Menelaus especially. The big thing that I want to tackle is the problem with nihilism, right? So the problem with nihilism to me is that it is a rational position. And so inherently, to believe in anything is not rational. So you have to build a system in which you can still have hope, but it doesn't make sense to have hope.
Yeah. Man, I don't know if dude, you're making me want. We're gonna be friends. So for anybody that's curious, there's two parts of nihilism that get discussed. One is like, what if nothing matters? Why should we care? And if nothing matters, is like, oh, we'll take the joy, and like it doesn't really
Oh
matter.
yeah,
Like
I
there's
see
like
it
very
as
sad and
I
the very happy.
generally I break it down into three different ways where you can have despair, where nothing matters, and so there's no point. You have apathy, which is where you get hedonism, where nothing matters, hooray, no consequences. And you have hope, which is more the absurdist philosophies like Camus. Um, and that's when nothing matters, but you should still hope for things.
Hey, this has been a really interesting conversation. I can't wait to get to know more about you. Shay's going to ask you questions here in a minute. It is
Okay,
Ted's time. Thank you so much, John.
no worries.
Hi, Ted.
Hello. First of all, John's books seem very interesting
Mhm.
and very deep, and I think he really goes into great length and does some worthy work. As far as I'm concerned, as I've listened, very worthy. And I think he's right. If I understand well, he's right in gender blending.
Mhm.
I do it too because it's very interesting. Because if you have a sci-fi and it's just a sci-fi, it's nothing original. But if you blend it with the paranoia and the betrayal of noir and the Gothic architecture and sentiment and feeling and dread, and you have it in space with different planets and different species and all of that. I think it's starting to get a little bit interesting. Of course, what I think, as far as I'm concerned, what I'm doing, I have a subliminal message inside what I'm writing. So I'm touching on political issues, I'm touching on philosophical issues. Nihilism is fantastic. Um, I I have read extensively about it, and what I'm writing is the value of having people, of having a good society. Uh, because I think a man kneels into nihilism when he's alone. That's my opinion. It doesn't have to be correct. I'm open to discussion, no problem. But what I think is that as more as you are alone, then you start to have these feelings and these philosophical wanderings and all of that. But if you are in a good society, if you are in a good company of people, then this changes, and it's more like the quality of life that you're living at the moment, and uh, how much enjoyment you can get out of every moment of your life. The now for the specific book of the Pearl of Koenig Tantra, I started it as a simple brass exchange in espionage. Is like I meet somebody, I give him something for a millisecond. Ideally, nobody understood that I gave him something, and I'm gone, right? It started like that, but the Rex Dodgers, the elite agent, is betrayed by the same person that he was going to meet. This person wasn't there. He's betrayed, and then everybody's running after him to kill him, and then he ends up facing this person that he was going to meet, this person that betrayed him, and said, "Why did you ask for me to come here? And then you betrayed him, and then you betrayed me, and you have everybody going after me to kill me." And the guy says, "Look, nothing beats very similar than reality, Dodgers." Right? If it's real, nobody will think that it was all meant to be so we can meet, and nobody understood everything. So this is the action part. There's a lot of action parts, shootings, and all of that. But I thought about it, and for the pinch point two, pinch point one, the antagonist shows his clothes, but pinch point two should be the devastating part, the dark night of the soul, the more dread for the protagonist. So I thought about it and I said, why don't I put Rex Dodgers into a belief restructuring gauntlet? Right? He's caught and now he's put into a belief restructuring gauntlet that they're trying to change his beliefs and make them same to the antagonist. Right? And what should be the recipe? What should be the way that we want to change the beliefs of this agent using the 7 deadly sins? You know, that's why they're called sins, because they tender us, they call us to break our bonds with ourselves and society, right? They are trying to make us more harmful to others. And of course, by doing that, we are being harmful to ourselves, but we don't understand it because, you know, if you harm somebody who makes something we need, then this somebody will not be there tomorrow, right? And for example, money is a way for us not to go out and try, you know, if you excuse the expression, to kill each other, to try to get things, right? We can do it with a coin or a paper, and it's acceptable. But if you harm the primary product, then money starts losing value. So this is what I do in my works. I do political thrillers, I do philosophical issues. I try to show how a semi-utopia could be. For example, the Ghost Federation is how was it born? There was a king of Rarelia, and he hired some privateers. And then these privateers overthrew the king because the king was unjust. And then these guys were really pirates, right? So they said, what should we do? Should we be like worse than the king or same as the king? Or should we try to make a semi-utopia, try to make a system that could provide for societal goods, for bread, milk, orange juice, for health, for education, and also be able to have a strong army. And I'm trying to make a semi-utopia out of it. And of course, every other galactic empire is governed by kings, so they're after them. Right? They want to destroy them because it's like the Napoleon in Europe, right? Overthrew the king, and the other kings went after him. And I think this thing helps a lot in trying to combat writer's block. You read history, you read other works, you take other works, and then you apply them to your own universe, to your own, you know. And this is why you're an author. You are, all right? You're creating a universe, and you're trying to make a beneficial message for your readers. Either that sometimes would be excitement from action, would be suspense, because something goes bad for them, and would they escape? Thriller, and all of that. I mean, you're trying to make it. But if you have a lot of background reading, then it's really no problem. You can write a lot of things. I mean, a lot of things. If you have any questions or that,
So I just have one before we give it to Shae. Something I'm curious about you is, have you considered maybe writing a period piece at all? The way you describe like your worlds and the way you're thinking about them, I think those conversations would be heightened in a period piece. I was just an idea I had for you.
when you mean a period piece, is like the history of the of my universe,
Or
the
just
history of my universe,
history.
or any period piece. For example, how Napoleon came to power and why
Not
did
necessarily
he
how,
fall?
but it would be during like Napoleon's reign, or during the Roman era, or during For, yeah, the Ottoman Empire. Some just during a certain time in a certain place.
Yeah, sure. That would be very interesting. For example, Napoleon is very interesting because
Mhm.
he was a military leader. He was actually a privateer if you come to think about it, because he was a lieutenant who
Mhm.
made great military victories, and then he was elevated by the revolutionary political system into a position of the most power. He
Oh, yeah.
became an emperor. Um, and I mean, I'll talk about myself. I didn't know that. When I read about the French Revolution and exactly what happened and how Napoleon came to power and why Robespierre did the guillotines and all of that, I mean, I was amazed. This is really a very interesting thing, and I'll tell you my secret. This was a framework that I used to make the Ghost Federation. It was I was very much I was astounded by what happened in Napoleon times, and I used it. And of course, all great battles. For example, Vienna is with the destruction of the Ottoman army when things were very very bad for European Christianity, and everybody said, "Look, we got to stop this." And or the or a dark history in Greece's history with Constantinople, which uh, there were not only Greeks there. There were Italians and all of that. Constantinople was divided into areas, and the Ottomans attacked the Greek sector and with cannons, but the Greeks did not answer back with the same coin, and that's why they lost. All these are very very exciting.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, and thank you very much for that question.
Of course. I can't wait to see if you dive into that genre. Shay, are you ready?
I think John had something to add
Oh yeah,
there.
I had a
Yeah,
question
please.
first.
Hey, John.
Because I was interested because they talk about creating even a quasi utopia society. For me, that brings up the idea of a philosopher king in Alexander the Great. I was wondering if that was any inspiration or.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the after philosopher king. What did you say?
So I was wondering if you were drawing inspiration from like Alexander the Great at all.
It's the sound is a little bit low, but I'll try to answer your question. The philosopher king is a very fantastic concept, and I think it is predominant in ancient Greece, where you have either kings that try to make just laws, and or you have kings that try to fight with their armies, which is unheard of in modern warfare, and or kings that try to distribute goods in a fair way, or even kings that take into great consideration the wise people of the time, or even not only kings, almost everybody wanted to have a piece of advice of the Delphi oracle, right? And of course, if you allow me to say, regarding to your question, which was very good, and I hope I'm answering it right, because you can correct me. And of course, we have the famous Delphi oracle where it says, somebody came in and said, if I go to war, will I die or will I come back alive? Right? And by changing one comma, if you change one comma in the original um, saying of the Pythia, If you change one comma, it means you won't get back, you'll die there. If you change the comma, it says you won't die there, you'll come back. So if he died there, Pythia was right. If he came back, Pythia was right. Right? So
Hey, this has been an awesome conversation. I do not want to step on Shae's time if she is ready.
I am always ready.
Hey, take it away.
Thank you, Clint, and it's an honor to be here with both of you, John and Ted. It is so fun hearing you guys talk and hearing just your different perspectives of things. I think that is one of the funnest things about being an author and getting to sit here with you guys and just hear how you break down history and knowledge and philosophy, which goes with knowledge. And it's just incredible to me when we have intelligent, all of our guests are intelligent. We all write books, right? So it's always so fun to listen. And I've enjoyed every second, and I just cannot wait to dive in with you guys. My name is Shae Smith. I am not going to introduce Sour because Clint did that so lovely for me earlier. However, I will mention that I also have written sci-fi fantasies. I have an anthology series kind of similar to John's nature, where you don't necessarily have to read the books in order, but they are from the same world and have the same magic system. They are called Cue the Trumpets and 17 Lifetimes. They heavily focus on mental health, and you kind of get through to travel through this dimensional world and see how these characters heal from their mental health issues and the struggles that they've had through life. So I thought that's cool because all of us here kind of write a similar genre, but we do it all so differently. And I think that's really cool and unique of all of us as authors that we can do that, have similar concepts, but go completely different directions with it. I'm going to go ahead and start with John. Thank you for being here tonight, both of you, actually. I know it's late for both of you. John and Ted are out of the States. They are not on the same continent as Clint and I, so they're up really late to be here with us, so their time is extra special, and yeah, thank you for that. John, let's start with you. Hello.
Hello.
You have a very vast collection of work right now. You should be proud of that. What you're doing, you kind of have achieved the goal where I was going towards with my anthology, where you've built such of an incredible series. You have 2 series, correct?
I don't know if you'd call them series. I don't really know.
Well, yeah, like an anthology. That's what I mean. That's kind of how mine are. You don't call them a series, but the kind, anthology. But there's 2 of them, right?
Yeah, I have, it's kind of I leave these things somewhat mysterious, let's say. So yeah, I have these 2 this is a prequel in the main book, and then my latest one here, Significatorius, is in the same world as Bisnode, which is in the Antarctic Collective.
Yes. So they have, but they're in the same universes per se. Those books that you showed us, the first 3 are in one, and then the Bisnode and the Significatorius.
Yeah.
There's a second. I love that. It's a mouthful, but it's fun.
I clearly like obtuse names that are different.
Oh gosh, yeah, your character names too. We're gonna get in that in a second because all of your
Okay.
names, I'm like, if I mispronounce anything tonight, that's on you, John, because these names are
I have
crazy.
specific thoughts on this kind of thing, so don't worry.
No, I love it though. I think it makes it, just wow, everything I was seeing. And I planned on, since you'd be a little sleepy tonight, to ask you kind of simple things, but all in all, everything you do is not simple. It's very much, but I love it. I could dive into universal talk with you for hours, I feel. We might have to have you back because I don't think Clint and I are done with you yet. I know it's late. We'll give you a few months, but you got to come back because you have so much. Okay, let's dive in. Your world building. So the one thing I noticed about everything I was reading and looking at and researching under you as an author, your world building seemed to be top notch. Can you kind of dive in? And if you want to show covers while you're talking about this, I want to see what your settings look like. Give us a good description of what it's like to be in these worlds, if you can.
Um, yeah, give me a second to collect my thought. Oh yeah, I also want to thank everyone. You guys are all amazing.
Oh yeah,
Shae,
please.
Clint, Ted. I keep forgetting. I see Ted is he's really good at being polite when he begins talking, and I keep just launching into my thoughts.
No, I'm the same way sometimes. No, yeah, no, Ted is wonderful.
But anyways, yeah. So the settings, I guess, uh, it's easiest to start with Menaeus there because it was actually one of the earlier ones I wrote, and book one, um, the first versions of book one started as a project I wanted to turn into an audio drama because I was doing podcasts at the time, but not like hits, not like podcasts today. It was always a weird thing where we'd have three different segments with a narrator between them, and then I found music and guests every week. This is how I learned that writing is a skill because some guests weren't comfortable with writing, and then I started writing for them. Anyways, that's a tangent. Um, yeah, so I was thinking about how to create the story that I could record with people. So I needed to limit the set and have it make sense in the setting. And we were already feeling this vibe of like, do you know who Wong Kar-wai is, the director from Hong Kong?
No, I do not.
He has
I'm sure he's
he's
very
very
talented.
he has a very specific vibe to his movies.
Okay.
It's like a muted melancholy, if that makes sense. You can imagine like the feeling of like you know, like being in a bar at 3 a.m. after not the worst decision, but a bad decision. That kind of feeling.
Okay, I love that. I love that description.
And so, yeah, so that's how it started. I was like 10 episodes of this, and then that all fell through. And years later, I picked it back up and started turning it into a book. But I kept the idea of having book one being this very tight setting. So you're in this oasis, and I make reference to the chaos outside, and the chaos being like this primordial evil that has existed since beginning of time, as far as we know. And you have these characters who are just they're strangers pretty much, but they have each other in this little store. The owner, the employee, and the guy who just shows up because he's nowhere better to be. And they in chapter one, it begins right away with the guy just reluctantly saying like, "Do you have any regrets?" And then they go into a big spiel about is it even worth regretting anything? And then you get pretty quickly you get a love interest that throws a wrench into their fragile balance, and then an absolutely insane antagonist who completely throws the world into chaos. But yeah, the goal in that first one was to have it just be tight, it's a corner store, so like a tight counter, and claustrophobic with like out of date goods and a radio playing in the background constantly. Because one of the things I do in the first part of the book specifically is I have these like convoluted introductions with philosophical quotes. Like here's a Kierkegaard quote. And I explain some of the history and whatnot, and it goes, "Life is understood backward, but must be lived forward." And my idea, my intention, I don't care if people skip it because I know it's a little ridiculous, but the idea is like that's what they're listening to on the radio as they sit down on the counter and then start talking about regrets.
Okay, I love this. I see what, okay, so you really, with your writing and even including your setting, you build in this perception of emotional understanding and awareness and kind of give
Yeah,
that your
I can.
setting is like leaning really towards the vibes of what is happening, like mixing claustrophobia with a setting. I think that's really, really
It's like
cool.
so if you look at you want like images here, I even have this. So in France, they have a lot of these books in bookstores, right? They don't have fancy covers. It's just kind of the title with a beige background and the title like this. But then I have this like smoke corruption coming on it like that.
I'm nodding and smiling. You just can't see me.
That's
I
what you're
really like,
saying.
I love the concept. And I really like how you bring different cultures into your writing. I imagine that involves a lot of research.
Yeah, well, it's also, yeah. I guess I'll show you the map before I go into that. So here's the map too. And I
Oh,
have
nice. You have
each
math.
generation kind of takes place in a different location. My sister did all the art for
Oh,
my
sweet. That's awesome. How convenient to have an
she was,
artistic sister.
but cultures. Oh yeah, so culture. Yes, it's very much. Do you know the term third culture kid?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not technically a third culture kid, but I've lived outside the U.S. more than I've lived inside the U.S. since I was about 19 years old. And then when I lived in the U.S., I moved around a lot as a kid. When I was young, I was born in Washington State, and I lived on a farm from the earliest years of my life. My dad was a lawyer for the local tribe, native. And then I thought I was going to grow up and raise pigs. uh,
Oh
but
my,
yeah, so then
that's so
I've lived,
cool.
uh, I've lived in Korea and in China and now in France for a very long time.
Nice. So you get to bring
And
in these experiences into your books. I see. That is awesome.
some of that, it's well, it's for a lot of things. Mm, because when you're learning languages and whatnot, the best way that I had one of my former teachers describe it to me is learning a language as much because learning a language it's fun to me. It's like a logic puzzle. You have to memorize the vocabulary and learn the rules of what goes where. The difficult thing is the culture stuff because it's a paradigm shift. It's a cognitive dissonance wall that you have to be able to get over where you have fundamental ideas that you think are right that aren't right in another culture, and that's not easy. It's not fun either.
Yeah, you don't think
But
those things.
one of the things I strive to do in all my writing is create a space where people can have discussions around difficult topics like that. And it's fictional, right? So you can dive into it without feeling attacked or vulnerable personally.
Yes, we love healthy discussions in our writing. I think that writing healthy discussions can create, we get readers that read these healthy discussions and they see that it can happen and it's possible and it's positive. And yeah, no, that's great. I do want to ask you one more question before we go, and it is one of the most difficult questions I ask some of our new authors here on Impromptu, and that would be, do you have a favorite main character or maybe a character out of any of your books that you relate to or that you just feel really drawn to and it's just your favorite? He or she is your favorite character.
I think my favorite character is probably Rayon. From here, this one. I do sound
Right,
effects.
which
Sorry.
is spelled really uniquely. Rayon. That's a
Oh yeah, well,
beautiful name.
it's like the Titaness Raya with an N. My
Hmm.
idea, but it's
Yeah, I love
I
it.
have very specific because when I get into like fictional names, I go into etymological holes, and then I try to when I find interesting things etymologically, I then branch off of similar related languages, and then I like to morph it so that it's easier to read for English speakers, and then yeah, that's like the basic thing, and then I try to forget what the etymology is, how like what the meaning was,
Yeah.
because like for
So you do put together your names. I was going to ask that question.
yeah.
You build your names off of.
Yeah, off of things. Usually there's like a
Yeah.
target language or culture, and then I go from there, and then I deform them, and then I try to, because it's like my name, right? So everyone's name, it has a meaning. John has a meaning, but we don't think of the meaning of John when you say John.
Right, right, absolutely. No, yeah, your names and your city names. So do you make the city names up too, or are those actual locations that are real
Uh,
on the
so the city
map?
names are all made up. Some of them are
Okay, that's
based
what
off
I
of real
thought. Okay.
places.
Yeah,
Like
no, that's super cool.
the in the Antarctica stories, all those are based off of real places, and they're deformations of other names that exist there, or things like that.
No, they're all really cool. That was one thing that caught my eye were your character names and your location names. I was like, yes, these all feel so good in my brain. They do. You do. You make it work. It's so cool how you do it. John, you are awesome. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We understand if you have to log off early or anything, it's late, but we'd love for you to stay through Ted's session, of course, again. I just always want to put that out there for those who are, here over hours and such. But we would love you to stay to be here with Ted again. And we do want you back eventually. If you enjoyed yourself here tonight, we'd love to have you in the future. We try to spread our authors out throughout time so everyone gets a chance, to be up here. And if you want to come back, we'd love to have you. And thank you for being here tonight. Your stories sound absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to check out. It's Manus, right?
Menaeus is the
Menaeus.
big sick one.
Yes, yeah, I like that one. I think I'm gonna have to. And Beast Snowed really caught my attention as well. So anyhow, they sound amazing. And thank you for being here, John. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to Ted. Hi,
Thank you for
Ted.
having me.
Hello, Shae.
How are you, Ted?
I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming back with us. It's been a minute. Like we said, we spread you guys out, so it's nice to see you again. I might ask you questions I've asked you before just because you do have this series that is so fun, and I just love hearing you talk about it and hearing you share things. So first thing, I'm going to start kind of how I did with John. I want to talk about your setting, Planet Spaceport. And I would like you to share, what's that setting like? What's the sky look like? What's the air smell like? What is going on in Planet Spaceport?
Yeah, sure. First of all, it's I played a little bit with Port Royal, which was a pirate port in the Caribbean, I think. So I made it. I made the planet's name Spaceport Royal, and Spaceport Royal Mega City. Now this mega city is like a Gothic town. It's mostly orange skies and very dark nights. And there is a takeover of this planet by a paranormal queen, Queen Lyra Nictandra. Paranormal queen. She has control over everybody on the planet, and she has been able to expel all Ghost Federation citizens from the planet. Now, that was a little bit counterproductive, because every 1st September at midnight, she has to consume a Ghost Federation citizen. And this citizen has to be voluntarily on the planet. And she had secured one, but this one died. Now, was it sabotage or was it a random event? We don't really know. But the main purpose is that there isn't anybody for the Queen to keep her alive after midnight on the 1st of September. So Captain Henry Drake of the Pirate Conclave went to the Queen and said, I will secure that you have one Ghost Federation citizen to be able to keep you alive after the 1st. So he went and arranged for Rex Dodgers to come on the planet and betray him to everybody, and everybody was after him. And then he arranged it so he could meet him. And his plan was not to hand him over to the Queen. His plan was for Rex Dodgers to hand him over a data stick with symmetric encryption keys, because in this universe you have to exchange symmetric encryption keys in order to be able to make secure espionage communications. That was the real plan. But then Henry Drake says, we want to defect to the Ghost Federation, and I will tell you a secret, and that's why I want the symmetric keys. And he's about to let Rex Dodgers go or help him out of the planet, but he finds out that the Queen has found a Ghost Federation subject, and she's about to keep on living after this day's midnight. And that's a big problem for Henry Drake, because he doesn't want the Queen to be alive. Because if the Queen is alive, he won't be able to leave the planet and he won't be able to defect to the Ghost Federation. So he tells Rex Dodgers that he has to go to the Queen's pyramids and abduct this Ghost Federation citizen and exchange him for a spaceship, give him to the Queen so the Queen can keep living, and him getting a spaceship out of there. Drake knows Dodgers would never do that, would never betray a fellow Ghost Federation citizen, and he's counting on something else. Rex Dodgers knows he's never gonna do that, but he goes there because there's no other way out. Now, when I was envisioning this scenario, I was reading Michael Moorcock's The Perils of the Vampire Queen, which is a Gothic classic, fantastic piece of literature, which I have been reading since I was 16 years old, to give you an example. And it was one of the books I think I had with me when I was in the United States. I spent 4 years in the United States and 6 years in the United Kingdom. And it was one of my favorite books. And I said, how could I apply the Gothic angle into this story? And I said, hey, Michael Moorcock, Pearls of the Vampire Queen. And the text inside has many homages. This is the start of the story. I have written 75% of the book, and I have the first 40 pages unedited for free on my Patreon site for anybody interested to read them. And I will soon be putting more pages inside there. The plot is full of noir betrayals and paranoias, and it has this Gothic dread of because Rex Dodgers has to traverse the Mirodessa catacombs, which is under the city. In order to be able to go to the pyramids, he has to go underground, and he has to go through the Mirodessa catacombs. And this is a Gothic feeling. Shae, if I talk too much, you may interrupt me anytime you want, right?
No, you're answering a lot of my questions I was thinking of. You just answered them as soon as I think of it. So we are talking about right now the Pearl of the Queen, Nathandra. Okay, I was just making sure. And you started bringing up that pyramid, which was a question I was going to ask you about. Can you tell us about what that pyramid, does it have a symbol? Is it, does it hold an energy, a power? Can you tell us about this pyramid a little bit? Because I was really interested in that. And also, can you tell us about the queen herself? Because you mentioned a mind-eating paranormal queen, and I need to know more about her.
Okay, that's great. I will go into depth. The Queen Nathandra was a cyborg experiment. They took a woman and they put a special chip, a brain-to-digital interface, which controlled her urge to need a Ghost Federation citizen. So that's the explanation of why a Ghost Federation citizen is required. Now, why he has to be on his own free will on the planet is because the Queen has to change his demeanor. He has to change his beliefs. Now, the pyramid is, I think, an outstanding symbol for an all-seeing eye, for an eye that tries to survey and control everything. It's an ancient symbol. That's why it was picked. Of course, the work leans into sci-fi. It's not fantasy. For example, when Rex Dodgers needs to get to the pyramid, he needs to traverse the Mirodessa catacombs, and there are some paragliding spiders in there that follow you from above, and they're very deadly. But that's why he has to go and find an innkeeper, Tiziano Cordana, and this guy has a special ring. He has a magical ring that scares away all the spiders, and it's safe for him to transverse. But because he needs an escort, the queen sends somebody in to escort him through the Mirodessa. So when Rex Dodger says, "I'm your escort, I'm the guy who's sent to take you to her cellars," Tiziano says, "Okay, that's fine, we go." But as I said, it's not fantasy. When you hear there's a magical ring that scares away spiders, what do you think, Shae? That's fantasy, right? That's magic.
Yeah,
Correct?
I would place it as fantasy, and I would also
That's fine.
want one of those rings. Just saying.
So, but it is proven that this ring has a reverse piezoelectric effect that creates frequencies in the right range of hearing of insects, and it scares them away. So that's the scientific explanation. And because it does not have enough power, the bearer needs to wave his hands. He has to create a motion so the power of the ring can be amplified. But this is sound like he's doing some magical gestures and things like that. But the whole thing is not a fantasy. For example, Queen Ethandra is not paranormal in the fantasy way. She has a brain to digital interface, and she can control machines that control the population of the planet. And of course, the pyramid is proven to be a relay beacon for interstellar communications for the enemies of the Ghost Federation and all of that. So it's spy-fi noir, gothic, space opera, no real fantasy.
We have such a wide variety of genres here tonight, don't we? We are all just kind of throwing it in one pot and mixing it together, but making it work. Gosh darn it. Ted, I am going to go ahead and stop it there. I wish I could just talk to you guys for hours, Clint. If we could just book these guys for a 2-hour session now. They're already staying up till 2 a.m., right? Ted, your attention to detail never fails to impress me. Thank you so much for sharing every little bit of piece that you shared with us tonight, because it continuously blows my mind how authors can piece together these things and just make these incredible stories. So, Ted, you're in the right business. Keep writing. Please keep producing us some of these stories. You guys need to go check out Ted's website too. I'm telling you, he has it laid out so cool where you can look at all the characters, see which books they're in, see what galaxy they're from, and I mean, just all of this stuff. He even has spaceship, and he makes these 3D spaceship models. So Ted's very invested and passionate about his work. 100%. Go check him out. John, thank you again for being here tonight. I appreciated every second with you. I could pick your mind for hours and hours and hours, and I feel like we could dive down this crazy tunnel of everything. And yeah, you are awesome. Thank you guys. My name is Shae Smith. It is always an honor to be here with you guys on Thursdays. And back to Clint.
Shae, thank you so much. This has been a great interview. Hey, real quick, tell us where we can find you, what you have going on, and what you have coming up. Starting off with John.
Hello. You can find me here on TikTok. In most places, I'm usually under John M. Bauer for my books. And if you really want to find me easily, just click the link in my bio. That's the easiest thing. All my books are on Amazon. I have Significatorius is on Ingram Spark, but I don't really know how that works. They're all on Kindle Unlimited as well. And if you ask, I'd rather you read my book than not read it. So if you really want to read it, but you're really poor, I'll send you a PDF or an ebook or whatever.
I'm sure they appreciate it. Do you have anything like any book conventions coming up?
I don't, and I mean, even if I did, it'd be. I don't think the U.S. The people in the U.S. aren't going to cross the Atlantic to come to France.
No, we get late night people.
Yeah. But no. Unfortunately, no. I wish I did. I'm a little bit. I'm probably a little unsurprising. I'm pretty bad at business.
Well, we're gonna help you get as many views on your books as possible. Thank you so much for being here, John.
Thank you for
Ted,
having me.
Yes, sir.
where can we find you? What do you have coming up? And what are you currently working on?
Okay. First of all, I've put some links on the text so people can understand better the links. The brand is Tex Cas Novas for this kind of work, from the Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Serpent, espionage, political thriller that I'm writing. People can find a lot of information on the Patreon site, which can be easily accessed from the texcasnovaswordpress.com website. Can easily find all links from there. And what I have right now is the Queen of Burning Thundra as the first installment, and but it's not out on Amazon yet. It's not completed yet. It's a work in progress, which should be ready in about a month from now. But I have 3 installments ready. The Tinker Tailor Soldier Serpent 1, 2, and 3 is out, and it's on Amazon and wide distribution on Drafted Digital. This is available. And then the 5th book is the Rigged Gabbit, which I started to write, as I said, and then came back and had to fill in what happened first. So these are the 5 installments, the 5 parts right now of the Tinker Tailor Soldier Serpent, which take place in a 14 days period. And some books have 2 days, some books have 1 day, and some books are 2 books for 1 day, because Rex Dodges is doing one thing, but his antagonists are doing their own thing. So it's not like I win because I am. Everybody's trying to do their own thing, and the most capable and the most lucky will win.
I can't wait to dive into it. When those are out, shoot me a message and we'll get you back on the show.
Yeah, sure. I'll put on the Google Drive an explanation what happened on the Sunday before, because the book you have is on Monday, so I'll send you what happened on Sunday.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Hey, thank you guys. This has been a wonderful interview. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.